Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Alright, let's go ahead and let's just do another random entry here, once again coming from a website that showcases random cryptid suggestions. In this case, it landed on this mysterious creature, a sea monster of sorts, which is always a fan favorite on this playlist, and it is here in the United States. In fact, if you wanted to go specifically, you have to go to southeastern Georgia in order to find it. So those of you in that location, who knows, you may be lucky enough to be able to see this mysterious creature. It has been around apparently for a long time, even has various descriptions associated with its appearance, and even has some sightings up to this modern day. So I'm going to go ahead and feature all that information here. In fact, you're looking at a representation of it now. It has a very unique name too, which I'll explain why in a moment. It's known as the Altamaha-ha. So again, Altamaha-ha, but it goes by Altie for shortness. And in fact, I'm probably going to do that for this video as well. So let's go ahead and let's talk about Altie when it comes to its characteristics, its history, its origins, and everything else. Let me know what you guys and gals think as well, and I'll give my own thoughts and opinions as always. So here's the information associated with Altie. So where do you find it? Again, it's here in the United States, specifically there in Georgia, southeastern Georgia, there by a river called the Altamaha River. And it's the name associated with this creature, the Altamaha-ha. I'm not sure why it has the extra HA after it when it comes to its official name, but at least that's where it comes from. And so if you happen to go towards that river, especially its marshy area, that's where apparently this gigantic creature lives. How long has it been around? Apparently a very long time. So long, in fact, that there used to be a Native American tribe there called the Muskogee Creek tribe who knew about its existence. They, in other words, originated its name. They called it the Altamaha-ha. Maybe they were the ones that added the extra HA at the end. And in this case, they named it that because it was after the river, which means traditionally as quote-unquote big water. So in other words, they named it essentially after the river, but it encompassing a very large amount of the water itself. And in fact, let's talk about the actual physical characteristics. The interesting thing is that this creature has various interpretations. Part of the reason happens to be with its ability to hide very well. The rare sightings that people have of it, it's apparently very hard to get a look at it, and that means that you'll have various descriptions tied to its appearance. So it's been described as being a giant snake-like creature. In fact, this was from the Muskogee Creek tribe themselves. So here you have one angle, and of it being a giant snake. If you wanted to know how large, essentially, well, according to another report, it's about 70 feet long altogether. Very large size, right? And in fact, the very first sighting that was non-native came in 1830. That's when apparently a correspondent of the Savannah, Georgia newspaper stated that he saw or wrote about multiple sightings of this sea monster there. And one of the witnesses that was interviewed was a guy by the name of Captain Delano, and he in turn stated that yes, it was 70 feet long, it had a barrel-sized body, and it had an alligator-like head. So again, another difference associated with its appearance. One was linked to it being a giant snake. This one more on the lines of a giant alligator. And then if you wanted even another interpretation on its appearance, apparently it has the body of a sturgeon-like creature, including bony ridges on its back, flippers as well, and apparently either the appearance or the swimming abilities of a dolphin. And then if you wanted even something else, apparently with variations, it has a crocodile-like snout, very large eyes, very large teeth as well. The color of its skin can range from either being white, yellowish to either grayish or maybe even greenish. And then the sizes vary. I mentioned earlier it was about 70 feet long when it comes to the longest size, but other interpretations state that it is in fact smaller, 20 to 30 feet long, which may actually suggest that there's multiples of them. That makes sense too, because if there's only one creature then people would have the same size given. But in this case, with multiple different sizes, you have to realize that maybe there are multiples, I guess, based on their ages. So very interesting stuff. Luckily, though, this creature doesn't seem to have any bad experiences with those sightings. In fact, probably the worst that I read when I was looking at information about this cryptid was the fact that it liked to hiss and bellow from within the river. So maybe it's doing it as a way to warn people off. It doesn't want to interact with them, but they are within its territory, so it wants to make sure that they get out of there. But no indications really about it essentially attacking people, bringing them underwater, tearing up their boats or their canoes, anything along those lines. In fact, there have been encounters by timbermen, hunters, fishermen, boaters, and then even tourists. And none of them has essentially said anything about it doing anything bad with those encounters. So it seems, for all intents and purposes, to be a very peaceful creature of sorts, if not a little bit territorial, but otherwise non-confrontational and non-dangerous too. This may also be to the fact that this creature, the Altamaha-ha, or Altie, is also apparently very shy and elusive. The closest that people have had when it comes to interactions regarding this creature is apparently seeing it there basking along the shoreline, soaking up some sun, in other words, maybe even moving along the river or scurrying away anytime there's some nearby boats or noise. So again, otherwise a very, very peaceful creature. And in fact, the people that have seen the most of it surmise that it just basically feeds on the fish surrounding that gigantic river. And then that way that it doesn't feed on anything else. No humans, in other words, are attacked for this. Some of the sightings I mentioned earlier range in terms of time period between the 1800s up to the more recent. These are some of the more notable ones that I'll mention here too. In 1920, a timberman that was riding the river saw what he described as a large snake-like water monster. In 1935, some hunters also spotted what they described as a giant snake swimming through that very river. In 1969, two brothers were fishing near that area. They saw a 20-foot long creature with an alligator head and then also flippers on it. And then if you wanted to get into more recent times, in the 2000s, there was a guy by the name of Taylor Brown. He and his father apparently saw an eel-like animal with very, very smooth skin near and around that area. And then in 2010, a guy by the name of Marcus Conger was there with some friends, and they in turn actually saw an 18-foot long creature with scales and flippers near and around that area too. Unfortunately, the sightings, they're so rare, they're so mysterious, there's bound to be bad situations, not from the monster itself, not from the cryptid, but essentially from people. As always, people gotta ruin things. But as it turns out, there was an incident, a more recent one, back in 2018, where it involved what supposedly were the decomposing remains of this creature. They were found there on a beach in the Wolf Island National Wildlife Refuge. And so people thought that this was Altie, maybe the body of an Altie, and ended up washing ashore. And then they were trying to see if this was proof of its history. But as it turns out, that it was actually just almost like not necessarily a hoax, but apparently a performance. There was an artist by the name of Zardalu who later claimed responsibility. He stated that he created this thing out of a stuffed shark and paper mache. So maybe he was trying to do something viral. Maybe he was trying to get attention, who knows. But again, that's one area where it was close. People thought that they found existence of Altie, but as it turns out, it was not. But otherwise, not much else to mention with regards to this mysterious creature. I will add this final angle though, where people surmise also that a lot of the encounters, as mysterious as they are, as brief as they are, could actually be real life creatures that people are running into. But again, due to circumstances of the brief nature of the encounter and it being maybe so far away from them, they think that it's something else altogether. So what I mean is this: it could be misinterpreted as this Altie could actually be an alligator gar, which you're looking at a picture of here. This is a large fish that can grow up to 10 feet in length, has an alligator-like snout, and then also very, very sharp teeth. So maybe this could be this creature misinterpreted as Altie. Other variations are either a sturgeon, maybe even a shark, or maybe even a dolphin. I don't know about the dolphin. I didn't realize that dolphins are in that area. But either way, though, those are some of the creatures, some of the real life animals that could be associated with Altie, and in other words, not be the actual cryptid itself, just misinterpreted stuff. But that's pretty much it. Again, that's all the info associated with this creature. It still has a little bit of lore, a little bit of legends associated in that area too in Georgia. So any of you happen to be there, if you want to go try to find this creature, find this cryptid, see if you can make its discovery there, by all means, do so. And then see if you have any luck afterwards. All right, everyone. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.